2022 GODSPRO Gaslit Awards. Brought to you by Pfizer. Could you imagine sponsored podcasts that just straight up get commercial, just like they did for the recent Academy Awards in 2022, where they had the Will Smith and
if Pfizer wanted to give us a bunch of money to do this,
yeah,
I would go against all of my principles and say yes.
Yes, Pharma Daddy.
Thank you, Pfizer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fax me 8, 10, 15 times, Daddy.
Give
yes.
it all to me. Mystery Science
Indeed.
Juice 3000.
I just want a little bit of that myocarditis.
Can you put razor blades directly into mine? I don't feel like living anymore, and I'm not living in Canada. You know, it's still illegal to kill yourself in Canada, but you can get a doctor to do it.
Well, in your defense, or the doctor's defense, you didn't go to school for it.
That's true. I didn't go and learn the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐃's excellent medical care with the doctor symposium. You know, they're going to have meetings for that. I know we talked about it last week, but they're going to have meetings where they have workshops where doctors are going to argue about the most ethical way of keeping someone alive while they take out their organs for donation.
You know, this is what you called a year in review, so we're just going over all of the wild and fucked up things that we have discussed and dived into over 2022. We started doing
I'm telling truth.
And Mark Santana
with my Karoshi.
And this is GODSPRO 2022 Gaslit Awards. Woo!
Yes! It's been a long time coming. I mean, we thought like fucking the COVID years were long. Fuck me, this year's it's been a long fucking year. It feels that way anyway.
It feels. You ever have a car engine stall out? You know, you're doing a manual and you just fucking pop the clutch, and you're wondering, why is life suffering? That's been this year in review. It's just been a hard stop. Everything that you want to accomplish has been paused. Convenience has been removed. We're all living in the third world now, baby. How's it feel to go into a grocery store and realize that eggs are double from last year?
That really pisses me off. That really annoys me. And the fact that I don't have chickens anymore. I had chickens for a really long time until the raccoons came. All the coons came right up in my yard and started just slaughtering all my chickens.
You didn't choke the chicken?
I got them back. I mean, there's a million of those. Choke the chickens, polish the helmet, shake hands with beef.
What's the point of having a dog if it doesn't protect your chickens?
The dog is there to eat food and get loved on by children.
That is a...
Yeah, that sounds like the house dog, not the fucking... the working dog.
That doesn't sound like a useful dog at all.
No, my dog is not useful at all. Roshi, do you have pets?
I do not. I'm not currently allowed pets.
You're not allowed pets? You mean in...
Nah, not in my... well, it's a rented apartment, so no, I'm not allowed pets. However, I've had cats, I've had rats, I've had dogs, I've had plural. I've had... What else have I had? When I was living in Hong Kong, I used to have all different types of tropical animals and stuff like that. So I had budgies, not very tropical. Guinea pigs, not very tropical. Newts, toads, salamanders, frogs, you name it. So
frogs.
I had a black emperor scorpion as a pet when I was...
Those aren't pets. Those are not pets. That's a bug.
Totally a pet. It's a pet. It's a pet.
Can you take it out and cuddle with it, Karoshi?
You could totally take it out and handle it. I wouldn't say you could cuddle it.
There's a scorpion that flicks its acid towards your eyes.
Yeah, you guys are all... it's like Wednesday Addams vibes up in here.
What, you like that mix?
Have you seen Wednesday on Netflix?
That show is a weird mix of color and darkness.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I watched it all in like 2 days.
They made, what was it? They made Teenage Monsters.
Yeah, but they did a really good job. They did a really good job doing that.
Count? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus she's hot too. Eh?
It's nice
Yeah.
to see that she was able to get her ass whooped and come back from it.
Whose ass we whooping now?
The Spectre bullshit was complete bullshit.
What Spectre bullshit? Why am I not? I feel like I'm always.
If you didn't watch
I
the
watched
show,
it. I did, but I don't. I'm so bad with like
wow,
remembering
and
things.
then you're wondering, you don't remember how Wednesday survived getting shanked? You know?
I don't. Was it by the monster?
I'm not revisiting the story. Watch Wednesday.
No,
on
I've not seen it yet. So
spoiling nothing because the entire ride is a trip.
Yeah, every episode's a little bit different. They add some more. It's like a murder mystery wrapped up with hot goth chicks.
That is a nice
sounds
touch.
like. Do you know what it sounds like? It sounds like fucking Gossip Girl with teeth. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, isn't that what life is?
Just a toothy Gossip Girl.
Oh, toothy Gossip Girl. Oh, but then again, like that's all Flash was. Like Flash and fucking Green Arrow and bullshit like that.
I watched three seasons of that on CW.
Oh, so bad.
CW shows are absolutely terrible.
I loved Green Arrow. You take that back. It was a quality show for the first 2 seasons.
Hold on, Talon. Let me say this. Green Arrow was also fucking terrible. It was a horrible show. I can't believe you filled your mind with that garbage.
Here.
Good. Fucking good. CW produces garbage after garbage after garbage. It's a garbage pail.
It produces high top quality entertainment to eat the background noise when you're focusing on something more important.
The CGI was made by a bunch of autistic kids rolling around in the back of a pickup truck like that. It was terrible.
My favorite part about it.
That's not very PC.
My favorite part about it would be a lot of his problems could have been solved with having Adderall.
Or just, it's...
just being medicated.
A little bit. Just a little chill in that pill.
Well, I'm rich and I've had a really hard fucking life and now I'm back. Just get on with like running. No, I'm going to eventually. Have you ever thought about like, medication?
Have you thought about mental wealth?
Yeah, mental wealth, therapy, and medication. Nah, fuck that noise. I've got all this money and all these fucking gadgets to wreck people with. To be fair, let's face it, we'd probably all go a little bit Green Arrow if we had that kind of money. So,
on his side, the tragedy was being on that island with absolutely no babes after being a fucking playboy for years.
None of this means anything to me.
We're talking about Green Arrow.
I know. I've only seen snippets of what the lady...
So you're talking shit about something you didn't experience.
Absolutely. My wife watches Green Arrow, and she watches The Flash.
Your wife has taste and you don't. It comes out so often.
My wife has poor taste when it comes to television shows, and I tell her that every chance that I get. Oh, yes.
What are your thoughts on Severance?
Severance from the Apple show?
Yeah.
Severance is...
This year it was a treat.
This Severance was probably one of my favorite shows that I've ever watched. Yes. I was sad when it was over. It gave me Last of Us Part 2, like sadness after I finished it.
Watching the way that the men act like these scared rabbits afraid to do anything at all to offend anybody, as if that was the default state for his very core of his being, was the most soul-searing fucking acting experience I've ever seen.
You have to realize that you're essentially...
Is cuck popular now? Is that what it is?
Cucking might be popular if you wake up and you have no recollection of who you were, who you are.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
How many times, for example, if you lose all of your memory and you have this old woman just yelling in your face, he respects her from the default. You know what it really shows? She might have been old,
but she was hot.
You know what it shows? It shows how they program people. They program by symbolism in a corporate environment.
So you're saying the symbolism behind that was you instead of these men being total alphas when they wake up, they're complete cuckbags.
As in fact, they chose the most compliant of the people possible. They chose someone who is willing to compromise.
They did have to go through interviews to get, involved in the severance program. A lot of these guys were...
So how do we get our severance from television? Like, when did we start the Ukraine war in America?
That was in March, correct?
Right, thereabouts, it felt like.
About 10 months ago. And there was this whole thing building up to it. I remember the whole build up, and we're like, oh, we're going to war with Russia. But then what were you saying earlier about we were going to go to war, but we're not at war, but we are at war?
Yeah, we're not at war, but we're at war by not being at war, by being at war to support a war effort that we're not a part of, but economically, not physically, even though we're donating missiles and guns, but not really because, that's interesting that Brittany Griner just got traded for an arms dealer, but it's not like the arms dealer is going to be used, or that there's any arms dealing going on, or there's no shipments of pallets of weapons that are disappearing from Ukraine being delivered over there, Javelin missiles and Humvees and money. That's not actually going anywhere because it's going where it needs to be to make sure that war is always made. We didn't have a war after Afghanistan, so we needed something for the military-industrial complex to keep its pipeline rolling.
We also did that when we pulled out of Afghanistan.
Yeah. I read you guys are about to send Ukraine an absolute fuck ton of, the Hellfire missile vehicles? I forget what they're called.
Fuck, man, it's been a while, and that wasn't my system.
Yeah. Literally, it's like a truck with like the rockets that go.
Oh,
and it's got like
you
racks
mean
of the bad boys on. That's what I'm referring to.
They were very popular in the Desert Storm.
Yeah, so apparently, like something that looks like that, is being delivered by you guys within. It's due for agreement any day now. They're leaning towards yes, and everything suggests that it's going to be a case of it's just a case of dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and all that bullshit.
I'm trying to find how much. Off of the top of anybody's mind, does anybody know how much money all the weapons we left in Afghanistan was worth? Is it 8 billion?
Oh, God.
800 million, something like that?
Would not fucking surprise me.
Afghanistan has always been trade platform sort of country.
Well, I was just thinking, if you get all
Merchants
of that stuff
come in,
taken off your books, hey,
they rotate the handlers. It was the
Lockheed
French,
Martin.
it was the Russians, it was the Americans.
I built all these tanks and all these Humvees and all these different these machines of war.
In between it, the locals get it.
And now we're out all that stuff.
And now
I'm going to have to make more.
We've kind of put the same pipeline in Ukraine.
Give me more. Give me some more of that government dollars, and I'll make you some more Humvees. What a great thing to happen for these big giant companies that
have all this military equipment that's ancient, especially now that I would like to draw your attention to the modern military field that has drones that are using to scope any soldiers that are currently exposed, who can drop grenades with pinpoint accuracy into trenches. I'd like to point out that artillery has become the new modern warfare, where long-range deletion as people try to advance their human components forward, and at the same time, military dogs with weapons strapped on their backs are starting to be normalized in the fringes of our science theater. While in actuality, in Boston Dynamics, while they keep trying to distract us with walking bipedals,
the little puppies that they have running around,
the dog ones that they come up with, because of their design and because of the weight, have enough of a weight platform for them to have walking dogs and flying drones. Hey, Terminator 2, are you ready? It's happening right now. Ukraine war. Have you all of the smuggled footage that sneaks out onto the Yarhar Fiddle-Dee-Dee part of the internet, it comes out with them constantly showing you know, informational warfare. Now informational warfare is up to the second. Everybody knows where everybody is. And modern military, even back in the time of just the Desert Storm, was a long distance was not a long distance between countries. Not really. Moving military forces and supporting and supplying them is the true reason d'etre. Russia doesn't care if Ukraine is blacked out now, so they're hitting the infrastructure to remove nightlights and lamps.
I had a gentleman tell me that Putin was an idiot, and in the same sentence, he made a comment about how he's, putting tanks around power plants so they won't get attacked. Because if you attack them, then you hit the power plants, the power goes out. Seems like a pretty smart move to me.
Didn't that just happen here in America, where somebody shot a transformer or blew it up and power was down for 40,000 people? And the government's response to that information was to go and make a YouTube video about how to attack the substations?
Which they didn't have any parts, correct, to fix?
Well, it was more about the fact that they would tell anybody, as if there was a public health disclaimer on the internet, knowing now that we're entering this time frame where events are happening and the story that we're being told is not the same. Lockdowns were never suggested. China's never locked down its citizens.
Right. That's the story being told now.
The Canadian convoy.
No, China definitely locked down their citizens.
They might not. I'm going to gaslight you now because that's not happening.
They've done it. A, they're doing it right now, and B, they were doing it right at the beginning. They were literally nailing people into their houses.
What are you talking about? That's just a fringe online group of people making up stories about the glorious People's Republic of China.
No, I saw videos of it. I'm very confident that took place.
Fake.
I'd like to point out that videos can be edited like movies. So how can we trust anything that's recorded?
I mean, okay, interesting. But what I would say to that is that I saw video, and I'm very convinced that they were actually locking people into properties, and they were literally like, nailing people into properties. I saw all kinds of shit where there was videos popping up where there was people dying in the street and shit like that. So
you're talking about
they were
videos
very quickly
of
being deleted.
Children running around with suits of biohazard that are many sizes too big for them, being escorted by biohazard suits with machine guns in camps where people are locked into individual cells.
Oh, that was in Australia. The point you're making, Talon, is
down under the prison aisle.
The craziness that happened, let's say, here in the United States, where they were shutting down schools and closing people's businesses. And then to come out a year later, which Fauci just did in an interview and stated with dick in hand, that he never suggested, not once, to lock anything down.
Not once to Science Daddy
Fauci say, I'd never suggested to lock anything down.
Never.
It's the same type of gaslighting they do with, let's say, Donald Trump locked down the country for 2 weeks. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Then he opened it up federally. He opened it up. And there was still mask mandates. And then a bunch of different cities with large populations locked their cities down for longer than the original 2 weeks, which closed a lot of businesses for good and put a ton of people out of work. That wasn't Donald Trump's fault. And now that Joe Biden is president and all those people are going back to work, we have historic job growth. My administration, historically, we're doing so much better than Eisenhower. It's amazing.
Many people, I would like to know in the YouTube comments, how many people have individually been impacted by losing a job by not accepting the vaccine? Not because of any of the reasons that were given, but because they want to do my body, my choice.
That's bullshit, Talon. Nobody lost their jobs because they didn't take the vaccine. Gaslight number 2. Because now they're starting to hire these people back and giving them severance pays, right? There was an
article about nurses that were fired who were getting a severance package to be rehired because of the lack of qualified nurses. But the military also enacted a vaccine mandate. So anybody who wanted to remain in the armed service was not allowed religious exemption. And when they did not allow religious exemption, that raises an eyebrow, considering a lot of religious exemption revolves around your body is a temple. Your body is your choice of what goes into it, and that fuel that fuels your body car is what establishes the quality and purity of your human experience. And for them to be able to remove that decision, to taint that experience at a whim, based on what? The science that is ever-changing and loving?
I was about to say, an ever-changing science. But yeah, imagine being...
Watch the headlines on efficiency rate go from 100% to 70% in 20 minutes.
My brain, I have a hard time wrapping my head around the concept of being in full support of these nurses that are working these 24, 48-hour shifts in the heat and height of a pandemic. TikToking, yes, but having their support, like, you know, supporting them, what they're doing, and saying how brave they are. But the moment they say, well, I'm not going to take the vaccine, then they're dangerous and they have to be fired. Immediately. But it was okay when they were doing the dangerous job before. But now, it's not. It really makes me mad.
The rush to get the Childhood Protection Vaccination Act for the coronavirus was interesting to me.
What was that about?
Well, ever since, 1986, there's a Children's Prevention Vaccine Act in America that prevents corporations from being legally responsible for the side effects from vaccines after they're administered.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that is interesting.
Ever since, we're looking at for the COVID vaccine, one of the things that was reported by most of the people who would administer it that did their anecdotal evidence was there's no ingredients list.
That's not for you to know. That's just for the doctors to know.
And yet
they have your best interest in mind.
The web of screens around us, every single tablet, cell phone, commercial is promoting a pro-vax lifestyle. Not just because it's a thing, it's there to protect you. It's safe and effective. The sloganing was real. It was a brand that they were selling.
Safe and effective. Safe and effective was a brand. That's interesting, yeah.
But now imagine how successful that was and how observably acceptable it was. They mandated you to get this injection. They mandated that you wear a mask, but they did it by societal pressure and by web announcements. They would put it on television.
Which worked so well that people would get into bum fights at KFC if you didn't have a mask on you.
You better not walk up to me unmasked.
And in my line of work, I've had people get offended the fact that I wasn't wearing a mask.
You're outside.
Doesn't matter.
The fact that
yeah, that was kind of bullshit with the whole outside thing, because outside it was very quickly confirmed. Now that shit's blown away. So
influenza, my dude. Where did it go in the years that COVID popped up?
COVID had taken over, right? Yeah, it had taken over. Influenza took a break, took a much-needed holiday.
It took a nap.
Took a nap. Said, I'll come back next year once Delta cools down and is not infecting as many people.
And now that it's not COVID season anymore, you notice that it's not really the reason to Tay. It's not the thing being discussed.
No, but it gave us so much content last year and in the beginning of this year. It was fantastic. With the COVID itself, then the vaccinations, and then hey, you still need to wear a mask, and then the blood clots that people were pulling out of their arteries. That's totally unrelated.
What is it? The new Twitter documentary, because you can't watch it on any streaming service, dies suddenly, where, I could skip most of their words, but I like fucking muting and just watching. It sounds wild. And one of the reasons that this is an only audio YouTube podcast to begin with is that messaging is in the images that are displayed.
Well, we just don't want, say, stalkers because we're so ridiculously good looking.
It's a crime to be this handsome. It is.
I couldn't say that with a straight face.
There's a reason
I'm sorry.
that we both have.
Yes. Yes, thumbs up. We both have. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
All right, wink,
You
wink
both
at you,
have
bud.
what?
I'm not quite sure, but I just know that it's
Okay.
happiness. We both have happiness. And giant dongs? Did I say that?
We
Am I
have
going
the
to get
biggest,
censored?
smallest dicks in the world.
Biggest, smallest, yes. I'm proud of my micro penis. It gets the job done.
I've got a tiny, gigantic cock.
You know, a side note, I have seen your balls before.
You have.
Yes, I have.
Stretched.
Is that what that was going on with them?
Yes.
Okay.
I was letting you see the veins.
All right. It was sent to me on my phone.
It was.
You know, okay. All right.
Imported.
Yes. I definitely.
Direct to your door.
And I exported that shit right into the trash can. That's what
Did
I
ya?
did. I got that. I deleted it so fast.
You
I
didn't save it?
poured some
To
bleach into
treasure
my
it
eyes.
for the rest
I was
of your
really
life?
confused about why I was seeing a picture of your dick. I was like, what is this? And
No,
why?
it very specifically was not the dick.
It was closed. There was shaft.
There was no shaft.
There was that. Oh, then it really is small. Okay.
It was buried.
It was
Buried in hair.
It was, I was gonna say it was buried in. You got too many pubes, man. You got to shave that. Get
Absolutely
in there.
not.
That's disgusting.
It helps me hold on.
It helps you hold. What?
It's like Velcro.
I like.
You ever use?
Fucking A, dude. So are you saying the vaginas that you're in are also just full on bush woman?
You've never gone bush hunting?
I don't like a bush.
You don't like a bush?
No,
You're bushless?
I'm bushless. Some of my best experiences were bushless bushes.
You be hunting on those flat savannas, I take it then?
Yes, sir.
There's no jungle in this guy.
No, let's say there was someone I hooked up with back in the day, and it was always like in an enclosed space, and it would get ridiculously hot in there, and there's just sweat, and you're sliding and slipping around, and fantastic. Yes, shave your bush, dude. Get rid of it. Karoshi?
And you've never had the swampy vines?
I shave it back.
Oh, you're the child's turtle?
No, not quite.
Oh, it's because he's a man of class. Be classy.
Yeah, classy. It's classy shave.
If you don't twist your hairs to make a mustache for someone to go on a mustache ride.
That's Jesus Christ. Buddy, please don't, for the love of God.
If I wasn't responsible for the Sega game company, I would have had a manscaping kit for Dr. Robotnik.
Didn't you say that your lady threw away all your trimming gear?
Yeah, I don't shave.
Like at all?
At
While
all.
your beard is getting longer.
It is.
You shaved once when we had like first met, and it was really odd. And I don't know what your face looks like after that. I should have taken a picture.
You know, the thing about having a beard is it's very comfortable. And a beard isn't something that you could just style, right? You either have a beard or you don't have a beard.
You need to do something with that so you don't get singled out during the next terror attack, and you get chosen. Yeah. You get chosen to be in the lineup. You're screwed, man. They might say, "Hey, I think it was that guy."
Listen, unless there's a mozzarella factory around me, there's absolutely no chance of a terror attack.
I don't understand.
Because I was making a joke, man.
That went
If
over
I
my
was an
head.
Italian terrorist.
Italian. That okay. Mozzarella. You should have said something more along the lines of like pizza.
Hey, a pizza.
Yes. Speaking of which, who is going to go watch the new Super Mario Bros. Movie?
I'm not.
Why?
It's not for me, and it's not for you. It's for our kids, let's face it. So
It's for the adults that wanted that dose of nostalgia.
No. Look,
no.
okay, if I want nostalgia, I'll watch the Super Mario Bros. With
Bob Hoskins?
The live action one?
the live action one.
Fuck you. No, that's terrible. Why would you? That is absolutely terrible.
Because Dennis Hopper was phoning it in.
Oh,
They
it
were-
was.
They were all
They were
phoning
all
it in.
phoning in. Apparently, Dennis, not Dennis Hopper, but who's the like American Italian Hispanic dude who was a Luigi? Bob Hoskins. After the first day, they were pretty much drunk 24/7 throughout the filming of that.
Yeah, you had to be drunk to finish filming that monstrosity of a movie.
They
Nah, word.
took people who knew nothing about Mario Brothers and tried to sell a story about Mario Brothers.
What? Do you know what happened to that? The people who originally like wanted to do the movie, they're like, "Oh yeah, we want to do a movie like Blade Runner. We've got the script and we've got loads of ideas, and yada yada yada." And they were like, "Yeah, sure, okay, no problem. You can do a film just like that." I'm like, "Awesome." And then when they'd like signed up to they're like, "Lol, joking. It's Mario Brothers." So they went, "Fine, we're just gonna make Mario Brothers but Blade Runner," and that's how that came about.
If that's the case, they should have did a crossover and had Harrison Ford come in.
Looking for Yoshi replicants. Yeah, I'm down for that.
If they had Harrison Ford just do a 5-minute cameo, it would have sold that movie. It would have sold that movie. You would be talking about that movie in hushed, happy tones. You heathen.
I feel like this is probably going to be our last episode ever after finding this out. Your love of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
I love that movie.
And your distaste and your dislike of going to see the new one. That looks amazing. It's got Chris Pratt in it, for God's sake.
Chris Pratt's not doing an Italian voice. He can fuck right off.
He's doing, it's plenty Italian.
It's not plenty Italian.
It's Italian enough for me.
He's not Italian enough for me. He phoned it in with Thor's Love and Thunder. He doesn't get a pass.
What do you mean? He doesn't write the scripts for that.
I know
right?
he doesn't write the scripts, but he phoned in the acting.
He was only in there for like 3 minutes.
Exactly.
How did he phone in the acting if he wasn't even in the movie?
I was disinterested in him being there.
Because you wanted to watch Chris Hemsworth.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then it has nothing to do with Chris Pratt. You can't take that out on him personally.
Yes, I can. He's
the
least better Chris.
Okay, I've got a better suggestion. Okay, so rather than like the Chris Pratt, like Super Mario Brothers, or the kind of Bob Hoskins Super Mario Brothers, how about another live action Super Mario Brothers, where it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, where it had the wrestler, I can't remember his name.
Mario Andretti.
Yeah, I thought you were going to bring that up when you said no. That's the one I want.
Oh, well, see, no, that's an actual treasured childhood memory. I'm not memeing about that. I'd fucking love that.
But like, I
so
thought we could,
disappointed in you guys.
reminisce on
You
it.
have no taste. You don't like cartoons. You've already boiled it down to, I hate things that are animated.
No, I love things that are
No.
animated. I don't like anime. Your Japanese, the results of a Fat Man cartoon shows. I don't like them. They all look the same. They're all dubbed. It's terrible.
He-Man. Thundercats.
That's gay.
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, the cartoon.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I like those. Yeah.
Okay.
Generic.
You like Power Rangers?
Branded.
I like the live action Power Rangers from like the 90s.
Yeah.
Go Power Rangers.
You know, Tommy died.
He did. He committed suicide, right?
Yeah,
He did.
it's horrendous.
Still actually one of the biggest events this year for me, because that's when I realized, holy shit, I am aging.
It just goes to show you how old you are.
It really does.
You're turning like 50 pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Next year, you're going to be an old man.
I am. I'm going to
How
have
old are you
to
gonna
beat you over the staff.
Be a
I'm
super
going to
duper old.
split that ass, boy.
That's where your voice is still young.
You know, it's not that my voice is young. It's just that I've been training for years to hide the age.
Still get told after when I shave that I still look like I'm, in my 20s. I like that.
When you shave, you grow older.
You're the only person to say that, and for that, I love you and appreciate
Your
you.
face becomes this wrinkled prunes. Honestly, you look like you should be on a raisin commercial. Don't shave around me. It's disgusting.
I won't. That was a misstep in my calculations of charging the buzzer that I had to trim up my beard.
You know,
Yeah.
I've come to find out How many friends do you have that have facial hair compared to friends that you have that do not?
All of my friends have facial hair, except for Matt.
Matt?
I mean, I grow it, shave it, grow it, shave it. So that's what I do.
Yeah, but do you ebb and flow like the tides? You know, during the moon phase, you let it grow out, and then after the moon, you shave it?
By moon phase, if you're asking if I get in a shitty mood and go, fuck this, and just shave it all off, then yes, I ebb and tide like the waves.
Is a
and
moon
the waning
phase
moon.
specifically, does that really like, hey, the moon's out and now it's going back, so I'm going to shave? Is that real? Is that like a real thing?
Lunacy is a real thing.
Oh, I don't subscribe to any of that.
You don't subscribe to a full moon?
Wow, your face just twisted when I said. I know they exist, but I'm not gonna shave my beard.
Moon's real, bitches.
Yeah. It's made of cheese, but I'm not gonna.
Lunatics.
It's not gonna dictate if I shave my face or not.
There is a blood curse that exists in people that when the full moon is out, they will act way the fuck more erratic.
Isn't that just because of the gravitational pull that the moon gives?
You say that, isn't it just? And I would counter the fact that that would be implying they don't have control over their own physical human experience, and they're just going with the ebb and tide of the moon. Are you telling me that there are some human beings that are that weak-willed?
I think that it's just periods.
Should we not exploit them for profit?
Based on if the moon is full or not? Sure, why not?
We'll set a whole thing. When the moon is full, you can steal from anybody, and when the full moon is out, you can steal from anybody.
We're gonna go on a whole purge thing now, just based on the moon
phase.
cycle. Yeah, the moon phase. Every full moon, you get to just go out and slay.
Oh yeah, you know, and moon cycle, moon phase, and also whether it's a voting year or not. So
that's what I was gonna say. You're gonna go and slay some puss. Are you gentlemen ending the year right with puss?
I don't know about puss, but I have a bottle of sake on the go. Oh, actually, a very nice young man in my work, was like, "Oh, you want to try this stuff? Like this tonic wine called Magnum, which is like Jamaican fortified wine." So I'm getting some of that on the go.
Yeah, they bang.
I've got a big bottle of rum ready to go.
I bet you do.
Because of my stomach issues, I can't drink as much as I used to. So,
is he there right now?
Now you know that.
No, God no.
Now you know that Matt has reached a certain threshold in a man's life where he starts saying things, slipping that into conversation.
Seriously, I asked if you're getting poon, and you're like, poon? No. But there was this man who gave me a bottle of wine, and it was delicious. And
no, I haven't been drinking yet. No. He's a cool guy.
He's a fine, young, upstanding chap.
I don't have time for women right now. Also, I'm not feeling the vibes that British women are giving me. I'm certainly not feeling the vibes
I feel
that
you on
Spanish
a personal
women are giving me at
level.
the moment, so.
Do British women moan in their accents?
What do you mean by moan?
The things they say, I don't know. I mean, that's a silly question, but can you hear the accents when they're screaming?
Have you ever brought a woman to orgasm?
Yeah. I mean, you can hear all accents in regards to the love throws, so to speak.
In America, one of the most common terms thrown around is, oh, fuck. What is it?
Different
No,
nationalities
I mean,
moan
it's
differently.
Very much the same in the UK.
It's not like, oh, bugger. They don't.
No. God, no.
You're in a Australian internment camp and you're getting the local poon?
No. The way he described it to me sounded like I was like fucking like a Victorian era Dickensian wench. Oh, it ain't like that, dude.
Well, that's disappointing. I don't want to go to the UK now.
Yeah, this is.
Okay, well, do all kind of like American Hispanic women scream "ay papi" all the time?
The Colombian ones do. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they do. And bro, it is.
Well, that's a box to tick.
Yes, ay papi. Oh man, I don't know what it is. I don't even know what a poppy is, but I mean,
it's daddy.
Is it, Daddy?
It is.
I thought they were
Yes.
calling me a seed you put on a bagel, but either way, it's delicious.
It just means you're sprinkling, and they want your sprinkling.
Fucking word. I love it.
Fucking hell.
We're gonna write down the next date. Y'all get laid before the 1st of January, and when we
What
come
is
back,
this mystery science theater? I'm repeating the joke. That's how high I am, man.
did you get it? When did you do that?
Oh, I've been doing this the entire time. This is the year in review. And may I just say that cannabis consumption is beautiful if you're over the age of 18. Don't smoke,
Of course,
kids.
if you're over the age
brain.
of 18, and also it's legal in your country, of course. So
Sure, but I'm not their fucking lawyer.
Karoshi. I would definitely say wait until
When you're talking to an
18 or
internet
later.
audience, do you have to curate for geolocation?
Yes.
I
I mean, technically, we do as well, but in a whole totally different way.
It's wild to me that we live in America, but as Floridians who proudly cherish our Florida man moments, we find ourselves still just observing the rest of America like it's crazy. Indiana
That's interesting. I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Indiana just passed a ruling that allows citizens to open fire on police.
For what reason?
If
Are they getting out of line?
No, if they believe that the arrest is unjust.
That's Jesus Christ. Why would they do that? Then you're going to have... Huh?
You're looking at me like I'm gaslighting you, bro.
No, that was all of 2022. But right now, so they passed a law that you can fire at police if you believe the arrest is unjust.
Do you believe in it?
I mean,
I believe
that sounds like a fuck around and find out type law. That does.
Right? Can you imagine
like,
anybody?
Potentially, you could do this. However,
Oh, he's leaning forward now. Now he's typing on the computer. I'm gonna find something.
no. I thought you were talking to me then. No, but
That sounds just like a shitstorm.
That does sound like it's like open carry. You're allowed to open carry. However,
The Indiana
around and
law
find out.
that lets citizens shoot cops. The Hoosier state now allows people to use deadly force to keep public servants from illegally entering their homes or cars. Police, of course, are not pleased.
Okay, so it's not just if I'm, outside of a bar, I was a nuisance, I was, disorderly conduct, and they say, hey, you're going to jail, I can turn around and start shooting. But if I'm in my home and they do a no-knock raid, and
how many examples now have we heard of cases of civil forfeiture where somebody has $1,000 on them? They just have a band, they're walking around handling their biz, and they get pulled over for a stop. They find the money, they seize it, they charge the money with a crime. So the money gets charged with a crime and then is used for discretionary funds for the police officer to begin with.
Yeah, they take that. That's why I will never drive around with more than $5,000 on me in cash, ever.
And this is just something we've allowed acceptable, as yet banks are these giant bastions of freedom and hope. They take our money and then use fractional lending, giving everybody a piece of the pie while having less than 0% capital. Now 0%, they might change it here soon enough. The amount of shell games that we get on a daily basis, and we're gaslit about it. We're told that it's a lie unless you're in positions of authority. For example, our energy manager, the recent United States Department of Energy, just got fired. They were going around stealing luggage, high-end luggage from airlines, and just taking it away.
That was that thing that was
The
doing that, right?
cross-dresser.
Yeah,
Yeah. Remember when we used to say cross-dresser? Remember when that was the common term phrase?
I think that's still a relative fucking term. I mean, if you're a guy and you like to dress up as a woman, but don't necessarily subscribe to being
But
like,
see,
I just want to
that
suck dick as well,
addition-
then that is cross-dressing.
That
If you're a
addition that
woman
you just
that likes to
did
dress as a man,
is how brain
cross-dressing.
programming works.
So cross-dressing would be if you just like to put on women's clothes, but you don't subscribe to being a
I like
homosexual.
the feeling of panties on my ball sack because it's made of silk.
Okay, you could buy some silk boxers that are small. Yeah.
The package is large. The balls, that's what most of the bulge is, the balls. Have you been suntanning your asshole and balls this year?
I have.
Not-
I've been taking a
not
book,
today.
a page right out of Liver King's book, and tanning my asshole and my balls.
You know, Liver King was found out to be, he tried to cut himself as a regular normie, but he was cutting steroids, and that recently came out.
I do not believe he was cutting steroids. Look at him. That man is all natural.
100% liver?
100% liver. Look at those abs. Each one of his abs are in a different time zone. That guy's natural.
It's way too He-Man.
He's gonna. How do you bounce? I mean, how do you bounce back from that? Are we gonna stop watching Rock movies when he comes out and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not natural." The Rock's like 50 years old.
Did Lance Armstrong ever bounce back from having one testicle and taking
Nope.
testosterone
Touche.
supplements?
Touche.
Yeah, there's drugs that you're allowed to take and drugs that you'll get banned for taking, and it's all public perception.
Which is a crying shame because the dude only has one ball. Let him.
Who's
let
that?
him take some testosterone shots or whatever. Poor guy.
I'm sorry, who has one ball?
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, Lance.
The bicyclist?
Poor
His big
Dick
thing was on
Why does he only
Oprah.
have one ball?
Oh, he got it. He
Cancer.
lost it. I thought, didn't he uppercut his sister or something?
No, it was
She-
cancer.
She bit it off. Oh, okay. It's cancer?
Yeah,
Cancer in his balls?
yeah.
Is that deadly, or do you just lose your balls? That's a serious question.
That's an interesting question. I imagine if they shrivel well enough, you could use them for a snack.
I definitely would not want to eat my own mountain oysters, but I know with colon cancer, there's all these different stages than people have. I have late onset stage 4 colon
What is
cancer.
cancer?
And
Have
they're-
we ever figured out what cancer is in
and they're
2022 yet?
Yeah, but they're not going to tell us.
But if we know what cancer is, how are there so many things that can cause it?
We live in a world.
Where we're told that what we're allowed to accept is the poison nearby?
Yes, everything has been chemically enhanced. I mean, you can get cancer now from sitting on a couch
Genetically modified oysters.
with a fire retardant on it. Everything's fire retardant now. Won't catch its
Alaskan
fire
sea
first.
crabs being picked off by Chinese fishermen.
There you go. Here, have this toothpaste. It's fluoride in it. It's good for you. But don't swallow the toothpaste because then you have to call poison
They're
control.
putting anti-smallpox vaccines directly into the wastewater because rats are infected with monkeypox.
Also into mosquitoes. So when you get munched on, outside,
They're
fishing or
injecting
camping.
mRNA vaccines directly into mosquitoes in experimentation for vaccination purposes, at the same time that they're giving approval for Florida for them to release genetically modified mosquitoes that will be sterile so they don't breed.
what are some of your own made up news headlines of things that are really going on that people accept as, oh, okay, but are really messed up? Like that was a headline of putting the vaccines into the mosquitoes so that when they bite you over long periods of time, you get vaccinated for certain diseases. What are some other ones? Could you think of any off the top of your head?
In order to be someone who crawls the web of information, you have to be able to read the source material.
I mean, one messed up one that I could think of is, we pulled out of Afghanistan and left billions of dollars of military equipment behind.
Benghazi,
There you go. There's another one.
Waco,
Waco, where
Ruby
people just
Ridge.
accept it as, oh, okay.
Operation Mockingbird.
Well, that came out later. That wasn't talked about at first. Even though it's still going on today.
The wild things about what happened in the past, the Tuskegee experiments.
If Operation Mockingbird is the placement of a CIA agent within sort of, media establishments, is it me, you, or Karoshi?
Just in the Twitter release that happened recently, the same FBI agent that was suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop when he was in the FBI was the same person in Twitter suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop.
That was the Twitter files were hilarious because I'm on Twitter and I love reading all the craziness that goes on there. And a lot of these people on, a certain side of the aisle were going, well, yeah, we already knew this was happening. Not a big deal.
It's always interesting how wise our betters are, how knowing they are, how gracious they are. Honestly, I wouldn't want to be the friend of any one of these motherfuckers. And I've got to stress this. Something that 2022 has showed me as they're gaslighting us for the coronavirus never happened. We weren't locked down. Small businesses weren't strangled for the glory of Walmart. What we come into is China's under lockdown right now.
Still. Oh, that's so wild.
And they use their social credit score, the same shit that they're trying to implement by tying everybody's name together and Google having an ID and cookies that are allowed to have your full identification and your credit card information. And this is all accepted as convenient because it's easy for someone who's just hopping on the internet to have one avatar. The anonymity of money is what allowed cryptocurrency to pass up. That it was untraceable, that you could buy whatever you needed to buy, and that its entire currency was how useful you believed it to be. Same thing for cash. People buy things in cash because it's none of your fucking business what I buy. Buying in sales tax is a pain in the ass. We're taught as Americans to go to a store. We're taught not to barter. We're taught not to haggle. To learn these skills, you have to go to flea markets. You have to go to bazaars. You have to travel outside of what's considered normal. And you have to hang with people who are more opportune.
That's why black markets will always exist.
They have to. There's a market for everything. Everything. What we've done is allow the markets to be hidden from social media. And it's real weird how much noise is thrown up for people to obsess over rather than things that matter to them. For example, if you live in an area, would you want to know how many registered sex offenders are near your preschool?
Yeah, that'd be something I'd like to know.
Go to a drag time story event.
Yeah, all right, touche. That's why that's being normalized now as well. And if you don't agree with it, then you're... What? You're a trans...
You're a terrorist!
Yeah, you're...
Have we milked every single ist and ism? I think we're pretty much at the point where they're all being paired out equally.
We still have a few things that are going to be coming to light here in the next couple of years, and one of them would be bestiality.
Yeah, I can't wait till you're a beastist.
That's right, you'll be a beastist. And the other one will be full out-in-your-face pedophilia.
And... love is at any age.
That's
just
right.
Like healthy's at every size.
That'd be wrong.
Is healthy at every size? Well, love's at any age.
That really drives me nuts. That the whole what they say you're fat shaming really is only towards women, whereas with men, I mean, I see this all the time. I go into, let's say, like a Target store, and I notice the mannequins for the men are all cut, fit, tall, whereas the woman's mannequins are a bunch of different sizes.
You know, and that's really where the programming from television has come in, is that what we see on television isn't a bunch of average men. I used to watch Tango and Cash as an extreme example, but if you watch Rollerball in the 70s, which was an athletic movie about athletes who were doing a bladed ball sport while they were doing motorcycles and roller skates. Pretty wild. The idea is the athletes were just normal guys. They were kind of fit, but they had the dad bods. You know what I'm saying? They were hairy. They would smoke cigarettes. They fucking relaxed. Every guy on television is an anxious mess.
If they're putting the men on television that are, in many different sizes,
or a moron.
Somebody complained to the point where they had to put these mannequins up in, let's say, Target and Walmart that were
probably
bigger.
Thirsty bitches.
I remember watching televised snooker in the UK in like the 80s and 90s. And those guys would straight up be just sinking pints of beer on live television while playing snooker. And in the 80s, I believe there was smoking as well that was happening. More recently, it was darts. So they televised darts in the UK. And those guys, up until recently, those guys are all, because darts is traditionally a pub sport.
Oh, yeah.
You pick that up in the pub. Maybe you get good, maybe you're better, maybe
They
you're
have
not,
whole leagues with
and then you end up
trophies
doing
in
that.
them, and it's
But
just competitive.
Yeah, but those guys straight up like would, again, sinking pints all day, every day.
Smoking and
on
drinking
television.
was a bonding ritual that we were deprived for what do we have now? Vaping and
Lol.
Darts is not a sport.
pills.
It is.
It is a
It
sport.
doesn't take any sort of physical
Hand-eye
prowess.
coordination.
Oh, get out of here.
That's like saying
Hand-eye
curling isn't a
coordination.
sport.
Curling takes some sort of physical strength to
Curling can be done by the old.
balance to get down the ice. I would go on to say that NASCAR is not a sport. You're sitting in a car, you're driving. What, you might sweat a little because your AC's not on.
Formula One isn't a sport.
That's
I
absolutely.
don't think
You're
you've
sitting in a
even,
car and you're
even got
driving.
AC in those vehicles. to
Rally
reduce
racing
weight.
is a sport
Why? Because they flip over once in a while?
because they go off road.
But they're not physically going off road. They're in a machine that's bringing them off
So
road.
you're saying everything that's machine assisted isn't an actual sport?
Things that would be a sport would be like those people that do the
Launching a
extreme,
spacecraft.
the extreme
I want competitive
kayaking,
space launching.
the extreme kayaking, the kayakers that go off of ravines and whatnot, or flipping over and going down those crazy like 10-level river
So
rapids.
50% manpower.
Yeah, you got to have some sort of manpower. There's
So
strength.
bobsledding is a sport.
Bobsledding is a sport. The luge is not. All you're doing is laying down. You're laying down and sliding around.
There's technique and weight and like leaning and
There's
shit like
no.
that.
If the luge is a sport, then me getting in and out of bed every day is a sport. It's the same. It's the same thing.
It's
you've
just
got a
as
technique to
unbelievable.
it,
It's just
if you got a technique to it.
You're
go for
laying
it.
down and then you're just going wee until you get to the bottom and then you stand up. It's not a sport.
Does that mean somebody got the gold medal of getting out of bed today?
That would have been me, because I rolled over and grabbed a kid on my way out of bed. There's always a little monster hogging up all the space in there. So yeah, like I say, me getting out of bed in the morning definitely is a sport.
Oh, a little monster hogging up all the space. Well, you know what you need to do? Open your legs and like shift it to one side. That's a good lad.
I do that every once in a while. I catch one of my kids between my legs and then I lock them together and squeeze so that
So you crab leg them.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was referring to your penis, but that's fine.
I heard
It
something
was a
about
dick move.
No,
No, I'm not doing anything like that.
no.
Yeah, darts I wouldn't say is a sport. Axe throwing
Is a sport.
No.
is a sport.
It
So is
hasn't been around
shooting.
for long enough.
Shooting is not a sport by itself. If you are doing what is that thing when you go in the snow? You're on
Hunting?
you're on skis.
You're on skis, and then you move to different places.
Yes, that would be a sport.
Okay, archery, is that a sport then?
Yes.
I would say yes, because you're physically moving
Manpower.
the bow back. Yes, there's manpower there.
Golf.
I hate to say this, but yes,
Say the words.
golf is a sport.
No, I didn't hear you. I need to hear.
Golf is a sport. A terrible one, but yes, a boring
No,
one.
no, you can cut the ad lib. I just needed the sound clip.
I would just say baseball is not a sport because I hate baseball with every fiber of my being.
I loved baseball when it was more about the steroids.
Everybody should be juiced up with baseball.
There's really no argument for a lack of steroid use in baseball. It's boring. The numbers don't sell. It's the least popular televised sport in America.
I think it is boring. There's no other sport that has a seventh inning stretch.
It's a very exciting game if you're involved in the lore of the characters.
And you like hot dogs and beer.
Beer is great because it makes everything enjoyable. Hot dogs is great because my glizzy gang know.
It's probably why when Budweiser got all their beer booted out
Do you like
of...
to smear your hot dogs in sauce?
I do.
What is your sauce of choice?
My favorite sauce?
Yeah, when you're gobbling.
My favorite sauce would be Charlie's spicy meat sauce.
Charlie's spicy meat
I've
sauce.
never heard of that.
You won't. He's a small guy in terms of his business out of New York. And he runs a hot dog cart in New York, and then he comes down here in the wintertime, the beautiful state of Florida, and he sells his spicy meat sauce. And damn, dude, it's fantastic. You can put it on a hot dog, corn dogs, whatever, or you can literally use it as a sauce for like pasta. And it's hot as shit, and it tastes so good. I love every single chance that I get to put it inside me.
If I could
That
get an
sounds
organic
really, really good.
version of the McDonald's hot mustard.
Why does it have to be organic?
Because I don't like high fructose corn syrup. It's one of the things I cut out in order not to be a chunker.
Is that why I see you around here having aspartame instead of high fructose corn syrup?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
That's why I do drink a Diet Coke.
So you'd rather have holes in your brain than be a little
Absolutely.
chunkier. Okay.
I could stand to lose some IQ.
He thinks good of himself. You hear that? That's
I could stand to lose. Maybe bring me down to the place where everything's fine and my government loves me. It does. It cherishes me.
That's your drink of choice, Diet Coke.
If I was gonna just go out and I wanted to say I was in Mexico, I'd buy Diet Coke.
Don't they use proper sugar for the regular Coke in Mexico?
Yeah, sure, I do. I drink that too, but I'm also trying to hydrate myself.
What's the most popular British drink?
Ooh.
Probably, I mean, like a soft drink.
Yeah, like a drink. You go to a restaurant, something that's always on tap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Like alcohol.
Oh, I meant just like soda. So here in the States, Karoshi, if you go someplace, we have two
if you
competing
go
sodas.
to what is
Pepsi
it
and
called?
Coca-Cola. I'd probably say Coca-Cola. It probably gets more shelf space in the supermarkets.
Really?
But
Okay.
if you go into a pub, it's like depending on the pub, or restaurant, like you are locked into Pepsi, you are locked into Coke. So
Do they have a size that they can only sell up to a certain
Coffee
size?
at every size.
in the UK, they've got this weird thing that recently came in called the sugar tax, where they effectively tax. It costs more to buy chocolate now. It costs more to have certain soft drinks and stuff like that. So
You did that
all
shit
the
on our
restaurants
tea
are
and we
kind of
threw a war over
leaning
it.
towards Pepsi Max and Coke Zero and stuff like that. If you want the regular stuff, you have to ask for it. And when you ask for it, they're like, "Oh, it's going to cost more," and it usually costs like a few cents equivalent more to get like the full sugar variety.
So what they're doing is they are attacking the sugar industry in order to, and this is what they're doing. Right now, the system has decided that sugarcane sellers, people who make natural sugars, need to stop making natural sugars. They want everybody to be on the artificial.
Yeah.
The artificial where, if you drink too many canned sodas, you're drinking aluminum.
Like Diet Coke is like the worst fucking thing ever. So
I love it.
Thank you. I know he does. And with Yogi
With no
Bear,
ice.
Yogi Bear,
Don't ice me.
the woman Yogi who he, is allowed to be with, he's a organic
That was
and
the most-
naturalist, and he's walking around drinking Diet Coke.
Yeah.
It must be like the Sahara down there. Every time she sees you doing that, just dries her right on up.
Listen, if she wants me to drink those delicious hibiscus springs or cane ginger snap drinks that she makes on the reg, then I would do it. But she's been flipping it for her biz. So
what would she have to do to you or for you to give up, let's say, your soda, your favorite soda?
You can't bribe the core tenets of a human experience. There are certain things that we agree on as men that are things that we enjoy to the point that they are our rituals for the day.
So if Yogi agreed to give you a top off whenever you had the need for a Diet Coke, you'd say no?
It wouldn't be a bargain. I'll just take that end. A Diet Coke.
I'd choose the top off, dude. Hands down, the top off.
You're willing to compromise key parts of yourself. You're saying that. What about coffee?
I fucking love coffee.
What
You leave my coffee alone.
All right, okay. I'm kind of. What would I have? I would, if I would get topped off every time I needed a coffee, or I would infinite BJs whenever I wanted. And I would gladly give up coffee.
It wouldn't work.
You think I'd be sneaking around trying to get coffee elsewhere?
You'd be a coffee cheater. You would be. You'd be sneaking in that little. You'd be like, just a little bit. Just a little coffee won't hurt. Just a little bit. How do you think drug addiction exists?
I mean, people quit smoking cigarettes.
For what reason? Because it's uranium poison.
Because it's bad for your health. So is coffee.
Smoking is good for you.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
It's
smoking,
a neurotropic. It
gets
increases cognitive. It lowers stress. It was a ritual that the Indians used for years in order to establish a peaceful bondage between other human beings.
Nobody is growing their own tobacco.
Instead, what we have now is a bunch of pill-popping depressants who are constantly watching the latest TikToker and OnlyFans YouTube millionaire who's going on cryptocurrency to get FTX'd all the way to the max on their daily 9 to 5 while working McDonald's while they can't go and pay a fucking rent check. Fuck out of here with your cigarettes are bad for you. When cigarettes were around, you know what people were doing? They were talking to each other. A rich man and a poor man could exchange fags. It was a good time.
Okay.
I'll
give it to you. I'll give it to you.
You would carry lights and light them up and be like, hey man, let's talk about stuff.
But back then, it was even more manly because you had a matchbook.
Because it was profitable, but it was shown to have side effects. Instead of explaining how it was causing cancer, somehow nicotine, which had been consumed for thousands of years, is bad for your health. It never was bad for human beings' rituals for years. But you know what was bad? The poisoned lands from the uranium.
So all the stuff that grew with the tobacco. Organic tobacco, you're saying, is good. So if I wanted to go get like some American spirits, that would be good for me.
You'd have to grow your own.
I wonder how much tobacco you have to grow to.
I wonder how much you have to get from the government to make a tobacco farm.
How much, like, money you have to get?
You imagine there has to be a middleman form of licensing. That's how I strangle small business to begin with. You have to license yourself in order to dig a ditch in America.
That's
in order
true.
to install a septic tank.
And on your own property.
And on your own side, because you don't own the mineral rights to your properties. Unless you buy the separate mineral rights.
Now, that always chapped my ass a bit when
you don't own
if you didn't
the
get a building
sky
permit
over your head.
Or something that you put on your own property, they could come in and tell you to tear it down.
They could build a house on top of your house and suspend it in a way that it's not on your land, and that's legal.
We'll have to go and look stuff like that up, because I have seen a lot of times when men have used drones to look at, let's say, a crime scene, and there was nothing that the police or anybody could do about it because it was above
their territory.
It was on his territory and above his, on his property line.
Hibbity hoppity, get the fuck off of my property.
Are you looking forward to being a property owner?
It's one of the cherished. I'm waiting for. It never made sense to me to have to slave yourself to a system for 30 years to get a piece of land when jobs move. And when you work in the computer science field, a lot of jobs are between city to city. You'll be moving a lot. And then you rent an apartment in that place and you work the job by going in there. And what's kind of happened in America is that we've become travelers to corporations. Everybody drives to work, right?
There's always some sort of commute.
And every time there's a corporation that builds up and is popular, Detroit happens, right? It's good, it's good, it's good, and then it's bad.
Yeah.
What happens to these Amazon places? You know, all these states are trying to bribe Amazon to put a warehouse down for the local jobs, because Amazon has strangled small businesses with a convenient ship directly to your door. And shipping directly to your door was put on top of the USPS, the United States Postal Service, which didn't earn any additional money for increased workload.
Yeah. It's tricky because here in the UK, we're getting loads of issues with backlogs in regards to various different courier companies, and also loads of backlogs in relation to our Royal Mail, which was
Royal Mail.
Public, but is now private because they've sold it off, and it's a bullshit company. But all their workforce are currently having strikes here, there, and everywhere, right up on the run up to Christmas, so no one's getting their mail that way. There's reports of mail just sitting outside of Royal Mail warehouses, and it's getting chewed up by foxes and rats and shit like that. And
even though
the only people who seem to be able to deliver right now is Amazon, because they literally are a delivery network.
Which is what they've done is they've done something brilliant. They've made a better delivery system.
Yep.
They cannibalize the people's taxes to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, word. Well, they don't pay taxes. Full stop, pretty much.
And they make record profits, and I noticed that things are getting poorer in the local areas, but the poor in the local area never seems to translate to any less profits for the corporations that get bribed to sit on the lands like they're honored deities.
And we saw a big blow to small business at the start of COVID.
Oh,
they told small business you can't open. You're not allowed to make money.
They straight up, flat out strangled some liquor stores.
I wonder if Utah was like super excited that all their liquor stores are owned by the state. You know? Have you ever been to Utah?
No. It seems like an abysmal shithole of a state.
Apparently there's a lot of money there, but I mean, what do you know about Mormons?
Do we have to go down this dark path?
So you know a lot about Mormons. Because I did a deep dive into this whole Mormonism thing.
Have you ever been to the church of... And if you say the whole thing, you'll be excommunicated.
From what? Excommunicated from what?
The Mormons.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like right up there with Scientology.
It's
right
branding.
Up there with Scientology.
It's branding.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Branding. You need to understand that the biggest worship, the biggest religion that's celebrated now is brand.
Fuck the Mormons and fuck Scientology.
It's brand.
It has to be, like you said, a brand, because there can't be that many idiots that actually believe it and just use it.
Once you have enough money to bribe to get into the noise network, you provide a service. Like, let's say, for example, I wanted to make the most evil company in reality, right? Let's boil it down. We've heard of Silk Road. Now, I'm going to come up with babyorgans.com. Okay? Freshly harvested from clones.
Okay.
What we do is we take the flesh of each circumcised infant, and then we clone that in a clone bank and use those grows to have the freshest blood and organs delivered directly to your door.
Sign me up. I like your brand.
It's ethical. It's clean, if you know what I mean. Baby blood.
Now, did you just make a baby blood brand?
Baby blood brand.
And then you're going to try to, sell that to the Mormons?
Yeah, why not?
A lot of people, I'm thinking, become Mormons, especially in Utah, just because they own everything and they're in control of everything. You can't get a job there unless you
are Mormon.
And
that's good. And that's a good thing. It is.
Why? Because it keeps them out of Florida?
It's territory.
Stay over there. It's a beautiful state, though.
Everything that exists in the world, every shell game that we try to lie about is just a big game of tribes and territory. They bullshit you with their public relations campaign, but it's all bullshit. Once you learn warfare, you learn that lies are the most successful tool that you have. And we're in 5th generational warfare now, where the war of hearts and minds is what kind of message gets displayed to you and who's the voice of authority. Many different brands have been thrown at us recently. Doctors, for example. The doctor is a brand in which the right doctors, the doctors who are on the side of science, which has become a brand of scientist becoming a brand of authority, of words of voice. But remember, even when someone of Newton's caliber was discovering about gravity, he was still not the authority. And we've allowed people to take authority based on how often they're repeated rather than the message itself.
That's really interesting. I really like that you said that they're turning doctors into brands, science into a brand. That's all we've seen the past 2 years.
It's branding.
It's branding.
We're no longer interacting by nature, by our tribes, by our friends, by our enemies. We're defining by acceptance to corporate ideology, corporate mentality. We're being trained with screens.
This is what we've talked about for the past year and a half. How do we combat this?
Yeah. Don't watch television.
I found it really interesting that in the UK, we get prescribed drugs by NHS. We don't get marketed them. We just get told what we're getting.
Somebody has to make a decision.
You got a vaccine, you got this, you got that. But all of a sudden, when COVID hit, everyone knew what vaccine they were getting, when they got it, what the next one they got.
It was suspiciously well branded.
It was interesting. It was interesting to say the least, I would say. But yeah, certainly branding.
I'm looking forward to just the next brand that they come up with. You know, what's something that they can make us hate each other more with? Because they've taken the sports team, you know, red versus blue, and they've taken it to every aspect of life, one hobby at a time, each one infested with this ideology that comes in like a mind worm and infests inside of it. Money. It's all about money and being smiley. Everybody needs to like me. Everybody's accepted, but all I want is your money. You stink, but I can't say you stink. I have to smile. And I'm kind of tired of this endless merchant lifestyle.
Well, that being said, do you have any predictions for 2023?
Oh, for sure.
What do you got?
There's going to be the recession's turning into a depression. We're going to have a war here soon. There's going to be a draft. They're already drafting Norway soldiers. You know, Germany's looking to shut off its entire power grid during the night. They shut down their nuclear power plants right beforehand for green energy, and now green energy's biting them in the ass. Yeah. The Nord pipeline is or isn't open, so good luck, everybody.
What do you think?
If you do nuclear right, it's really fucking clean.
It's really clean. They're talking about fusion energy now too, and I'm like, why? Why talk about it? It's bullshit.
I believe in the UK they've just approved the reopening of a coal mine in order to facilitate a coal factory, and I'm like, well,
when the sun explodes,
that's interesting. And considering the UK's history with like coal mines, that's really fucking interesting.
What is the UK's history with coal mines?
They despise coal mines.
Okay.
And they went on a huge campaign of kids' lungs and really appealed to the children. You ever notice how much people appeal to children? How
cities
they like to advertise directly to the kids for the fear of the children. It really happens a lot. Remember DDT?
DDT.
How many times has it when they say trust us for the science, but then they fucked us in the ass? DDT, asbestos.
Oh, I forgot the name. That was, yeah, dude, it was in everything. And now it's literally, it kills people. It gives them cancer.
You know
right?
what it is? It really boils down to money.
Was it cheap to make?
It's not beneficial to have a healthy human walking around, because a healthy human, clear of thought and mind, would wonder and grow. They're exploiting weak, sick people all the time. Are you sickly? Do you need to go to the doctor a lot? Well, that's great for my medical bills. You know, every doctor gets able to prescribe remdesivir to someone who comes in for the corona vaccine. And then what happens to them when they're on the ventilators? But we're not supposed to talk about that because, you know, the story shifts. It's this giant looking glass that we get gaslit on what is and isn't reality. At one point, what is true becomes false tomorrow. And this is not acceptable. This is gaslighting all the time. This drives people fucking crazy. It's why when we were locked up for 2 years and then we started integrating in 2022, we're really socially dumb. Like, staring at each other, drooling a bit.
And they definitely nailed like the youngest part of our population with that. The growing minds that need that interaction with other people.
We will never have such a brilliant example of psychopaths as this youngest generation. It's already showing in the rate of how they are not even fucking each other anymore. Kids aren't fucking. You know, that's a concern. Men and women are not fucking. 18, 19, 20, 22, 25-year-olds, they're rising up something called incel now, involuntary celibate.
These
Because
people
kids
should
aren't
be fucking. They should be fucking, is what you're saying?
Aren't they fucking before? They were smoking and they were fucking.
Are you talking about fucking to reproduce?
That's a great
No,
thing.
just joy fucking.
But joy fucking doesn't do anything for our population, which
No.
is on the decline.
No,
We have a
no,
crash in
but
our
it keeps
population. We'll be
people
screwed.
happy.
We're trapped in cycles of depression based on being ensnared by the illusion magic that's put on television. Fake stories. You know what? One of the worst things that ever happened in America was the slice of life TV going away for reality.
What does that
Yeah,
mean?
reality
What's
TV is bullshit.
slice
but
of life
I
TV?
think we've had this conversation.
We've had
Like
parts of this
multiple
conversation, but the slice of life reality excursion happened in the 1970s where they were killing Leave It to Beaver, I Love Lucy, those type of shows where they were showing family units overcoming problems.
Okay.
And then it became individuals overcoming problems. But the result of that, if you were to look at America like the sick, psychotic pen of Adderall-infested children that roam around and complain at each other while taking various concoctions of pills and chemicals and smiling like sycophants, selling things to each other, well, you got to say that TV became our god, daddy, didn't it? Sky God Daddy TV has Brandy for us, and Brandy Good. Brandy Good. Siggy bad because TV say so. But you know what is good? Xanax. Smile. Fentanyl is good when it's good, but then it's bad because it's bad because it's bad because it was good then, but it's bad now. But now that it's bad, the companies are just selling it to street merchants so that the street merchants push it into drugs as a cut. So instead of baby powder and cocaine, it's fentanyl. Now every pill is a kill. They have slogans on signs of police cruisers. We're getting ever more psychotic while smiles are being applied and politicians ply us with the dumbest, stupidest non-answers to life's hardest mysteries. The best solution we've ever had is to disconnect and find meaningful friends. And that's what they don't want you to do, because fear sells and sex follows.
So we've won this year.
We've won.
We've won. We found friends.
We've found friends. We've gone outside. We've cherished the moments. Really, what we've done is we've appreciated the illusion spells for what they are. Free ye from his money.
Yeah, all $1 billion of it.
It's
I
interesting
can't
that
believe
opinions.
I can't believe how they've screwed, like, just taken so much away from him, and it's just been like, oh, he said the thing. I'm like, sure, you can cut ties with someone, but how can you like close his fucking bank account? It's like.
Now, I'm not in no way defending what these banks did, but Karoshi, have you seen his interview with Alex Jones?
Yeah, I was like, okay, maybe he'll clear things up. No, he just straight up doubled down on it. I was like,
yes, he did.
Like,
oh my gosh.
I have cherished the
thing.
journey and look forward to the next episode.
What's the comedian's name? Who was like, oh God, what's his name? Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle spoke on
had Elon Musk on it, and he was booed on stage for 10 minutes.
Yeah, he gave him an out. He went, "Hey, listen, like you're sick," blah, blah, blah. And then Kanye was like, "No." Went on Alex Jones and doubled down and was just like straight up, "I really like Hitler and I really dislike the Jewish community." And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Alan, grab that sound bit of Karoshi.
No,
Again,
stop it. No.
Again,
that's not allowed.
Even that's fucking hilarious. We should absolutely grab that sound bit and sell it to people.
Do you know what?
A
I
button
don't
that
give
they
a
can
shit
press.
anymore. Do what you want.
Replace that Staples button
But
that's
again,
easy.
again,
I love Hitler.
If it's okay to fuck white people,
Where are you going with
and
this?
it's okay to go. It's interesting to me that this emotional sales pitch that Kanye West lost billions of dollars because he said what specifically? The clear messaging is anti-Semitism.
Okay, yeah.
So you're telling me that if you don't compliment, you are now a criminal. That's the thought crime that we're allowing corporations to establish. And they all seem very happy to do so at the same time, where now that it's not popular, Kanye's on the out because he can't sell things anymore. Branding. Kanye West has exposed the entire branding industry for what it is. They sell brands. Now that Kanye isn't someone that they want to support, they're going to alienate him. He's no longer one of the tribe.
If you piss off large amounts of the population, then you're not going to be able to sell the products.
Pissing off large amounts of the population is how comedy was popular.
That's
You're gonna
comedy.
tell me Richard Pryor got popular because he had polite opinions about people?
Richard Pryor wasn't trying to sell Nazi shoes.
Who wouldn't want to goose step in some Nazi shoes? Come on now. We could have a reenactment. When are we going to have Holocaust reenactment?
That's Jesus Christ. What?
I will say one thing, those
Civil War
Yeezy
reenactments.
380 aliens are fucking magnificent. I do like those shoes. So
Did you ever return the ones you got for your nieces?
no, I didn't. I retained them because they went up in price. Also, there's nothing on the outside that says Yeezy. It's just straight up like Adidas all over it. And that has been Adidas's plan all along. Is like, nope, we'll retain the rights. We'll retain this. We'll retain all patterns. We'll retain all colorways and any future colorways. Lol. And Kanye West just signed a shitty deal. So.
But isn't that interesting to me? Again, we're talking about branding. We're talking about someone who worked their ass off with countless hours of being a provocateur. Someone who said on a humanitarian fucking broadcast, George Bush hates black people. And then we're surprised that he's trying to provoke people again. It's his brand.
his brand is to be a provocateur? I thought his brand was to make music.
Hold on, I'm gonna let you finish, but let me tell you about this. Taylor Swift.
Go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this guy has been doing it for years.
I thought I was about to get schooled
now we're
in something.
Suddenly surprised.
Yeah, but
no, it's how the fake outrage about this. This is how it's unbelievable as Meghan Markle talking about how oppressed she felt being and how much she didn't want the limelight by marrying into the royal family. How much of a shock it was to her.
I don't have any privacy. Hold on. Let me get this angle. Take the picture now. Okay, thank you.
Knowing about how much of a controlling individual she was represented. I mean, have you seen that poor man getting browbeat by Meghan Markle in the interview on Netflix?
No, but I plan on, I guess, watching it because they want their privacy. So I'm going to give them the opposite and watch the documentary that they produced. It's really funny how they say one thing and then do another.
It's a lie, right?
It's money.
It's an absolute lie.
That's a lie, right? Have we been gaslit to not what lies are anymore?
Yes, absolutely so.
Right? What's up, Kuna and Mayo? Possibly Karoshi. What's up, Jacob?
I don't remember the guy's name, but I fucking hate him.
The Gaslight Wars of 2021 and 2022 have remained strong.
The amount of publication that gets redacted and changed to whatever on a Wikipedia article that gets referenced as law. The amount of just suppression of information on social media giants. For example, a pharmaceutical company that pays its dues is allowed to market direct to your door some sort of antipsychotic medicine on hers whatever.
Are you referring to those things we see all the time, the hers and hims medication?
Yeah.
But the hims is like hair loss, boner pills. What is the hers? Is the hers really psychotropic?
Mental and fat pills.
Really?
It shouldn't be the second one. It's just the first one.
I had no idea.
Tell you what, who I do hate though, that fucking Piers Morgan. He's an absolute fucking cretin. Like, he absolutely rips into Harry and Markle like something ruthless, and he's just an absolute fucking cretin. I don't know why he sees fit to do that, but
well, we have our own version of that here in America. We have Don Lemon.
Well, you had him for a while. You had Piers Morgan for a while, and then he came back to the. When I heard he's going to be in America, I was like, yes, finally, he's fucked off. And then lo and behold, he came back. So
he did an interview. I was watching this 2 days ago with these vegans, and he never let these people get a word in edgewise. I think that's his whole strategy, is to just blubber along in his with his British accent and just take over the conversation. Yeah, it's really annoying.
Isn't that what Jeremy Clarkson does that all the time? That's Jeremy Clarkson's bag for Top Gear. What is it now? The Amazon show?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him, but infinitely more than Piers Morgan. I am a fan of him. So
didn't the BBC have a whole pedophilia scandal that was covered up? I remember that was a very divided issue.
that was for a very long time, and the royal family was linked to that as well. Look up. Oh God, what was his name? Jim'll fix it. There you go.
I don't know.
You know what?
Who Jim'll fix it is?
2022 in a nutshell.
Oh no, you need to look that shit up.
This was the year that I realized that pedophilia is incredibly fucking profitable.
Immensely profitable.
All of this ridiculous, the Wayfair, all these rings that are uncovering, the Ghislaine Maxwell, and the fact that she had a federal court case where none of the defendants had to get their name released to the public. The black book from Jeffrey Epstein just getting thrown under the rug, the constant amount of pedophilia that gets revealed as isolated incidences. You know, this
Yeah.
Balenciaga photo shoot where they have the publication of the United States case versus Williams, which is about sexualizing children for photographer in a photo shoot for their clothing with a kid. What? And I'm wondering when we're gonna get daddy to come home and spank some ass. Because really, we're at the point where this is intolerable. There is a level of limits to the depravity being displayed that isn't being addressed. And where I believe that religious fanaticism is going to replace it. A person who's not going to be able to express distaste for the queer lifestyle will find solace in going into a religion like Islam. And they will find that solace because it will become an escape. So we're actually branding this lifestyle ideology into people's heads where you have to be aware of somebody's sexual preference and judge them on that instead of it being behind the closed doors and none of my fucking business and don't tell me in 5 minutes. I don't care if you don't eat meat. That's a you problem.
A good way to get around this is to escape, is to not buy the brand. We were talking about that earlier. I don't really see half the craziness that's going on because I'm so cut off from the world. And I love it that way.
We've cut off of the brand, and we're just vibing the own brand. And it's a unique situation, but when you realize that subscribing to a lifestyle where someone can teach you that lying to your face is acceptable and part of the social contract, you check out. Happiness revolves around a sense of warmth in the community. Is there anybody more isolated and alone in the community than the single white man? I mean, to get a job application nowadays, the rumor is 1 in 6 hiring managers in New York are told to focus on diversity hires.
You should definitely put on your application that you're bisexual. Maybe that'll help.
But why is there sexual preference on a job application?
It's part of the brand, buddy.
Isn't it diverse?
I mean, are we subscribing to a fuckfest? That makes sense. If a corporate fuckfest and we have to subscribe to what room we want to enter into, that makes sense. You want to go, hey, look, we're throwing a party. Guess what? You checked this box. So we rented out a room in Amsterdam and we've hired the hottest, sickest, thickest dicks for you to suck all night long. Part of a corporate retreat, 24 hours in Amsterdam. And it's, if you checked bisexual, you also get an invite.
Okay.
But you get a visitor's pass.
A visitor's pass.
Yeah.
I would not like to just subscribe to this brand. I'm not checking the box. I'm going to work for myself and get all my money through the black market.
But say that even having the conversation of the conversation is part of the indoctrination. They trick you by getting you to talk about things that aren't what you're interested in. We're not talking about egg prices are so expensive because the latest celebrity just took a shit on the bed. We're not talking about the war in Ukraine that we're supporting with aid packages in the billions of dollars while we still have a homeless crisis in Los Angeles, in anywhere, man.
I was going to say pretty much any.
I was going to name New York.
City.
I was going to name Chicago. I was going to name Seattle. But then I realized every single one that I name is just a giant melting pot of ideas that are broken by high rent prices and a lack of care for your fellow humans, because we're all hustling to travel long distances to brand ourselves. And it's because it becomes so indoctrinated that friendships are at an all-time low, and that's why suicide is so high.
Oh, so we should rebrand ourselves for 2023 as entrepreneurial family men.
I think we should rebrand ourselves as entrepreneurial assholes. I think everybody should.
I think we should put assholes and family men in the same.
Honestly, family, from what I can tell, dads are the best businessmen. Because a dad has experience and desire to care for a small unit. That's what a company should be, is a family. You know, like working here as we have on Gods and Prophets, you and Matt, I consider a family, even though we work under a podcast.
That was like the sweetest thing ever.
We spend a lot of quality time talking about things and having unrestricted opinions. It's a little mini council of chaos.
With the one grounded one that's all the way overseas.
He really is our bedrock.
I would say that I certainly don't agree with everything you say, but even though we don't have that agreement. Sorry, did I cock block you while you were talking? I apologize, man. Carry on.
No, not at all. He's reading text off of the chat. He's so friggin' high right now.
Bro.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Bro.
Well, no. Like, we don't agree on everything, but that's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. Because even though, like, me and you and Mayo sometimes have very different opinions in relation to lots of different things, we can still talk about these things. And even though, like, there'll be stuff that you say and I'm like, no, I completely disagree with that. You are certainly entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. You might present facts. I might present facts. And you know what? Sometimes we'll meet in the middle. Sometimes we won't. We'll just go, we'll agree to disagree.
All right.
I really like that.
I do.
That Karoshi is, and you, Talon, are entitled to your opinions, and I'm entitled to my facts. So, love it.
You're left, and I'm right.
I get it. Go fuck off.
Just out of curiosity, how much have you guys smoked?
No, not us guys. I don't smoke.
Oh, I thought you smoked. I thought you were like, oh, okay, fair, okay.
Oh no, I'm not one of these hippie stoner guys that chiefs on the devil's lettuce all day.
Yeah,
I stopped doing that probably 2 months ago.
A whole 2 months ago, player.
He says that. All right, listen. He says that knowing full well, clutched in a death grip in his left hand, is the easiest access to tapping a button, having a warm, heated puff of aromatics pumped directly into his mouth.
I have a vape in my hand. That's what he's getting at.
He has a fucking vape.
A vape in my hand
and he's saying he's not high or smoking.
Yeah, just out of morbid curiosity, when you vape, why not just like cut out the middleman and just suck a dick?
Because there's not always a dick available.
I have never agreed with Matt more on this show than right now.
It's not available. Matt, present it. Present it, Matt.
I don't know why, but like there's something about you that just makes me go, just rip,
the amount of shit he gives. Listen, he's like,
who am I giving shit to?
You are squeezed bean juice and hopped up on air right now.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? You can't even see. If I asked you to get behind a car right now, you wouldn't know where the road is. You're so Asian right now. It's not even funny.
Racist.
If I love their race, how can that be racist? I buy all my shit from China. That's great.
Listen here, just because I could live,
if I could just speak. Oh,
no, we're done. We're not friends. That's it. The last podcast of the year.
That's it. We're splitting up.
We're throwing the gauntlet down.
Oh my gosh, I should have had something to drink. My goodness.
It's spit take.
That's it, boys. This is Matt Karoshi. The other two guys are outside having a fight.
I'm really excited for next year though, guys.
I am.
I like this this bullshitting episode. I hope everyone else did as well. If you made it this far, like and subscribe.
Why do you have to pimp? You know what?
I like saying that because it makes you uncomfortable.
It does. It does. There's something about having to brand yourself by doing the thing to remind people.
Yeah, I know. That's
by
why
itself
we don't
its
do that.
own indoctrination.
Oh, of course. That's why I looked right into your slanted eyes as I said that.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. Click down the notification
Like,
button and turn on all
oh my
notifications.
God.
You don't ever miss an episode.
Bell, hit that bell.
Oh, man.
Everyone hope and keep your fingers crossed and pray for chaos next year so we have more things to
I
talk
would
about.
rather gas prices drop back down to less than $2.
Can we just have a moment of silence for Putin and say thank you for the drop in gas prices?
What did he do this time?
He did the increase. It was the Putin price hike earlier this year when prices skyrocketed.
Putin purchased a bunch of American gas.
That's
and
what
our
the government
price went
told
up?
me, is that because he started a war with
Wild.
Ukraine, that the prices skyrocketed, and now
It's
they're
not
coming back
that
down.
Gas companies produce a certain amount per year, and they can control it, and they didn't
Jesus
have
Christ,
a lot
I'm being
of
sarcastic,
gas.
dude. I'm being sarcastic.
They didn't have a lot of gas because they weren't pumping because people weren't driving.
Or that.
And then they started realizing they could just work from home, and that really fucked with these rent-a-spaces. You know, the properties, the prices that have been inflated because they've been competed with businesses.
The reason
for
the
years.
prices are dropping is because Biden's releasing gas from
The fact that we're all going
reserves.
to be work from homes by working our own business, producing our own custom things that are valuable instead of working in a corporation because corporations don't give a shit about us. Yeah.
We are going to do that whole OnlyFans thing, right? The three of us.
The three of us. Listen here, I'm more of a producer.
Do you know what? I'm going to let you guys in on a secret.
What's
I
that?
created an OnlyFans profile.
Did you?
Now, however, it is strictly for consumption and not for production. I haven't
I don't
subscribed
believe
to
you.
anything yet. I was just like, out of curiosity, it was like, there was a particular person who was like, I've got a free OnlyFans. I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I will bite. I will look. And the free OnlyFans was very disappointing. And I'm fairly sure the paid OnlyFans is going to be even more disappointing.
You have
So-
to
Not
have
mine.
an idea of photo shoots and fetishes.
I'll tell you photo shoots. Subscribe to mine. It's at Canadian Mayo at OnlyFans. It's $3.99 a month. I upload
Right.
daily videos, and you get about 20 pictures every day.
Every day. That sounds like some Snapchat type bullshit.
Oh no, it's
Nah,
only the
I'd
top
rather
premium
you take your
content.
time and give me quality. I
Have
don't
you
want no,
it's quality. Do you have-
taken your distended urethra and spun it around in a circle yet
Not
for that
yet,
private
but
video that I've
to
asked
fit-
for?
I think you should throw me a free subscription, and I will be the judge of said thing. So.
Do you have an ultra widescreen monitor?
I don't have an ultra, but I've got a wide.
Ah,
It won't fit.
it won't fit, buddy. I'm sorry.
You know what? I'll have the black bars at the side of the screen. I'm down with that.
All
Let's
right,
go.
Okay, we're gonna watch it like we did.
Based
the first
Black Bar fan.
the widescreen. Do you remember when that happened, guys? When the widescreen movies and we still had square televisions?
Yeah.
They had those stupid black bars, and I didn't understand it. What the hell's going on? Why you cutting off the movie?
Because so at some point they enforced a resolution change on everyone to sell a new product because they had invested on the television line.
And I love my big
TV.
Television,
I
yes.
love the flat TV. If
Yeah.
we're talking about shit that developed that I'm happy for, it's TV.
I bought
You know
a
what?
movie
I give it a lot of
on-
shit, but there's a lot of good stories I've had. I'm just tired of listening to people's political opinions. Now
I
subscribe
bought a
and
movie
vote the
the
way
other
that
day
I
and
tell
that
you.
had fucking bars on it.
do it how Talon wants you to. Shit. My fingers, my hand is hurting trying to get Discord to work. I'm not joking. I'm gonna have carpal thumb
That's good.
hitting the stupid push
You've
to
asked
talk
for
button.
you've asked for the high quality content of 2022 boiled down into one single episode. We can't cover every single gaslight. We can't cover how every story has changed on us. It would be physically impossible to spend the countless hours of the that we poured into the research of every single thing that would be called a conspiracy before it was called, begrudgingly, the truth. How is it that Twitter is so important? It's because it's a place where we talk. And now Canada's proven if a government can choose what citizens say, that they'll choose truckers to get jailed today. They'll take away your bank accounts. They'll convince you to commit suicide.
They'll kill your dogs.
Have socialized health care just like we want, right? Smile. Except that mandate that everybody has to have health care cut away a competitive system where insurance companies had to bribe people to. And now they don't provide jack shit for deductibles. It's a shell game where we're always fed horse shit. And whatever we're told, usually, is a lie.
Do you think that being a responsible for a smaller human will change you in any way? Maybe soften your edges?
I'm going to teach them how to deal with whores, pimps, prostitutes, and politicians, thugs and cops. And I'm going to send them out in the world with the tools to succeed, to find something that they love doing and learn how to market themselves. Because in America, we're a brand, not a person. And I'm telling truth.
Mark Santana.
Matt Karoshi.
And this has been Gods and Profits.
Gods and Profits. The last episode of 2022.
We're going to be back next year, fresh and hot. But now we're just going to leave without